we're in real trouble. Look what's happened just in the Midwest with these storms that come through and wipe out entire sections and counties in Iowa.
I don't know how else to start this episode, so I'll just say President Death Watch. We're all watching closely. We all know it's coming. The president's going to die very soon.
In the words of Trinidad James, he popped a molly. He's sweating.
This is Rock Hard Caucus. It's Iowa's favorite podcast. We talk about news and politics and culture and all that crap. My name is Justin. I'm here again with Evan and Stella.
Greetings and salutations.
Hey.
Two of my smartest, bestest friends.
Oh, that's way too much credit.
Yeah,
but thank
your
you.
check's in the mail, Justin.
That's right. Stella pays me to be on the podcast.
Yeah. We're just the ones who say yes when you ask.
So we mentioned on a few previous episodes that we'd be covering the upcoming presidential debate, and it took us several days to actually get our schedules together to actually record something about the debate. And the debate happened almost a week ago, and pretty much everything that's happened since then has been a lot more interesting and potentially consequential than the debates, which, as
That's
usual,
a good way to put it, yeah.
As usual, the debate was irrelevant.
I think it might
part.
actually be good context, though, to look back on it in the context of new events.
Yeah. So right now it's October 5th, and the debate was September 30th, I think. Last Tuesday?
It was Tuesday, yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh no, that was the 29th. I took the notes on September 30th. So, yeah, I guess I can start talking about the notes that I took on the debate, and then we will...
I watched it with Chuck and Natalie on Discord, and
yeah,
it was a laugh riot. It was one of the most interesting experiences of my life.
Yeah.
It was both everything that I expected it to be, and also so much more. It really hit the spot, honestly.
I would if memory serves, I think, Evan, your prediction for the debate was that it would kind of culminate in sort of the American public sucking on the teat of democracy in a beautiful vision for the future. Of
a Chernobyl cow.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I do not think your prediction came true, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, some people tried to spin Joe Biden's performance as that. He showed up and he stood there and he took it like a champ.
Did what needed to be done.
He stood up to the bully.
Yeah.
He put him in his place.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot believe people earnestly feel that way about what they saw that night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that he pretty much stayed within, a couple percentage points of expectations throughout the entire thing.
Yeah, it was pretty much how I expected him to be. Just
he had some
present.
moments of coherency, and he had some moments where he was not sure where he was, and he had some moments where he didn't know what to say to Trump because he kept interrupting him.
Yeah, the "Will you shut up, man?"
Mm-hmm.
The thing that people are trying to sloganize now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are treating that moment like it was Uncle Badass is back. He put on
Right.
He put on the sunglasses. He told
put on
that
the
guy
aviators.
to shut his fucking trap. But
Cowboys going on one more ride.
yeah. To me, it was oh, this is how my grandma was when we started noticing her Alzheimer's. For real. It's you just sort of mutter to yourself because you're irritated at the noise that's around you.
Yeah. I mean, I would say he didn't look any different than any of the primary debates. I don't think you can chart a clear course there, but
Yeah.
he is who he is,
It was an irritable old man. It wasn't a strong hero fighting back against.
Well, he started the debate just laughing a lot. Like whenever Trump interrupted him,
yeah,
he
yeah.
started out just laughing. And then after a certain amount of time, he
Yeah.
transitioned more to just sort of like,
when he was just doing like that scoff and smirk routine, that was like his VP debate against Paul Ryan, basically. And back then, that kind of thing, it worked really well for him, at least like media-wise.
I remember when that debate occurred, and I mean, Paul Ryan is very different from Donald Trump in a lot of ways, and I mean, just so much has changed since then. But I remember, granted, I had a lot of liberal Kool-Aid at the time, but I remember thinking like Biden destroyed Paul Ryan, like, in that debate. It's just crazy how only a few years ago he seemed so much more formidable, and like the expectations that he needed to meet to be considered like to have performed adequately was to just stay standing up for like 2 hours.
yeah. There's even a clip of him from like 2016 after Hillary lost where he like pretty like clearly explains why Hillary lost, and like in a not exactly, I mean, pretty spot on way.
Yeah.
Like he's definitely, I don't know.
It's sad, man. I mean, it kind of reminds me of that Simpsons episode where Homer's skull is discovered to be extra thick, so all he has to do is like stay standing in the ring while other boxers just like get like tired of punching him in the head. And that's his strategy.
I mean, that's pretty much his entire career, because he's ran for president so many times and failed for various reasons,
Yeah.
I've never been a fan of his, but
He is where he is now just because of his endurance, not for any particular talents.
exactly.
No.
That's spot on.
So the beginning of the debate, they just started broadcasting. They announced that the audience has agreed to be silent. And already I was laughing.
It's not even the audience, it's just like the gallery, basically. Like,
Yeah. All
Right,
5
there's, like-
people.
Yeah, there's like maybe 40 people in the room. Trump and Biden take the stage. The first words that we hear from either candidate, did either of you remember this?
I definitely remember Biden's because he's such a jive turkey sometimes. Like, I don't know if he thinks he's some kind of beatnik. He's not, but his entrance.
he knows
is like,
what plays well with Middle America.
Yeah, a folksy charm.
Like reflected back and forth, like through a funhouse hall mirrors.
He said, "How you doing, man?"
Yes, you got it.
Yeah.
That was his greeting for Donald Trump. How you doing, man?
It reminded me of when, do you remember the primary debate where after Kamala had really kicked his ass by talking about basically how he like ruined her childhood through like enforcing segregation.
Yeah.
And they all get on the stage, and the first thing he says to her is like, "Don't go too hard on me, kiddo." I think maybe his whole strategy is just like, I'm a sad old man, and like it says more about you than it does about me that
That's
I
exactly
seem so
it.
enfeebled.
It's the they go low, we go high shit, 100%. Like that's, pretty clearly the strategy, I think, is to just like hang in there, appeal to people's greater sense of decency or whatever, while Trump just barfs all over the stage.
They go low, we go old.
So the first subject for debate, presented by Chris Wallace, who, wow, what a great job he did.
Mr. President, go to the office.
Yeah.
I'm writing you up, Mr. President. That's your second disciplinary warning in the past 2 minutes.
He just passes him a note that says, "See me." So the first subject was the Supreme Court, which, a lot of news has been happening, but you may have forgotten Ruth Bader Ginsburg is dead, and the Republicans are, as of a week ago, they were on track to replace her very quickly with, it's Amy Coney Barrett, right?
Yep.
That's her name? Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That has, of course, been possibly derailed by Trump and half of the Republican senators contracting a disease.
That's one thing I want to ask for our predictions. Like, do you think there's like a month before the election? We have 4 weeks. Obviously, a lot can happen in a day. So do we think there's going to be some kind of hearing for her?
I would say they probably do it during the lazy, or the, what do they call it? It's
The
not
lame
lazy.
duck. The lazy duck.
Lazy duck. They do it during the lazy duck period.
I think it's like the lame duck jumps over the lazy dog.
Yeah. Exactly.
I just sort of wrote down different things that they said that I thought were funny or worthy of observation. So the first one I wrote down was Biden, while he was talking about Amy Coney Barrett wanting to destroy the Affordable Care Act, this is a direct quote from him, "I'm not opposed to the justice." So yes, she is hell-bent on destroying the landmark legislation of my vice presidency, but I am not opposed to her specifically.
Of course not. She has the right credentials.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. It
That's
would
all
be
that really
disrespectful
matters.
for me to oppose her qualifications.
There's no actual ideological conflict here. She graduated from, same schools that all these people did. Which I don't know where she graduated, but
Yeah, I don't know. She went to judge school, just like everybody else.
I don't think Biden really cares.
Yeah, okay.
He doesn't care about Roe v. Wade. I think of all of the
Oh, no.
candidates we had for the Democratic primary this year, he's the least sympathetic towards reproductive autonomy.
Yeah, I mean, he probably has the most pro-life, political record of everybody who ran for president this year. I'm pretty sure that Trump referred to Biden as Jill at some point in this segment.
I don't remember that, but that rings true.
Yeah, there's a lot of possible variables. I may have misheard. He may have just been slurring his words. Or, my favorite theory is that he intentionally referred to Joe as Jill because we all know who's really pulling the strings. Dr.
Right.
Jill Biden.
Dr. Jill Biden.
Yeah.
He had a little devil over his shoulder named COVID telling him to do it.
Right, yeah, he had a virus in his brain at that point already. So, Quote from Trump on Biden's healthcare plan: "You're going to socialist medicine."
Yeah, there was a lot of Bernie talk, at the debate over the. I'm sure the
Yeah.
S word is in your notes there.
Yeah.
When Bernie was doing really well, like when he won Iowa and Nevada, and he was, for a while there, it was looking pretty good for our boy. I'm sure Trump just came up with his strategy right then, and he doesn't really feel like he needs to do any more homework. I just feel like
Yeah.
he thinks the same arguments he has against, that he would have had against Bernie, like the very obvious ones, that he just thinks he can repurpose those against Biden. But Biden and Bernie are nowhere near the same
Yeah.
on anything.
Mm-hmm.
They did get him in the gotcha, though, where he referred to the Green New Deal accidentally. Basically, they're just trying to get Joe to slip up and accidentally say that he supports the wrong thing. It's not a
Right.
bad strategy.
Yeah, but he's pretty determined. He's very stubborn about his refusal to support anything good. So they'll never catch him.
I support the Biden plan.
Yeah. Which is what exactly?
Yeah.
Here is the first time I noted Biden pathetically begging Trump to be quiet. So early on, there was something that Chris Wallace said about how both sides had agreed to an open discussion format. And what did they expect to happen if that was the plan? It's going to be an open discussion with Trump? He's going to just never stop talking. You're really setting this up for failure.
You have to put him in a soundproof isolation cube, and you should, as has been proven. It needs to be the episode of the Game Show 21, including the cheating. Trump needs notes. Someone needs to give him notes.
Do you remember that super intense British lady who moderated that early 2000s, late 90s game show, The Weakest Link?
They're
Yes.
rebooting it with Jane Lynch.
Are they?
Yes.
Oh man, that's good to hear.
Resistance icon, Jane Lynch.
I think she's probably the only one who can handle him. I was surprised that they picked Chris Wallace. He was the youngest man on the stage by a margin, and he was old as fuck.
I think he has like some history with Trump. Like I guess some sort of combative interviews. That's what I saw people talking
he's
about
the
anyway.
Fox News anchor guy instead of an opinion guy. So he's like, has to have some sort of air of journalistic integrity.
Right. He's got a boner for like objective, fair and
It's
balanced.
to prove
news
that the
reporting.
debate is on good grounds because it doesn't offend anyone. And it definitely offended all of the Republican viewers who, like, pretty much exclusively on Twitter, I saw, like, them just screaming that he was, like, a DNC plant, that Trump was, in fact, effectively debating two different people, which, I mean, he was.
Yeah.
But he kind of brought that on. I mean, attacking the media is, like, obviously, like, not a bad strategy at this point.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, you have to admit that, but like, and the media itself is incapable of admitting that. But you know,
Here I wrote, Trump is owning Biden and Wallace repeatedly, and they are just chuckling like, you don't know how bad you look right now. That was my perspective on what was happening, at least. I don't know if you guys felt differently about what you saw. But I felt like Trump was really just running the show.
oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, I don't know if how bombastic Trump was distracted from how, like, I think Biden probably performed the best at this debate, better than he did at the previous primaries.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if because Trump was such an ass, like, if it made Biden's slip-ups and, you know, he has a tendency to stutter and kind of hem and haw, kind of like I'm doing right now. I wonder if that kind of, like, obfuscated that a little bit or made it worse.
It made him
or...
sympathetic for sure, and I think like all of the polling since then has showed like what I saw. Like Biden's national lead was like, at least in one poll, was like something absurd, like 14 points or something.
Yeah, I think that's the best one he's had recently is
Yeah.
up 14. Yeah.
I think it definitely had some people. I don't know. I don't see how. I don't know. Like I said, exactly what I expected and so much more.
Yeah, I think we were probably only like 5 minutes into the debate, and Trump started calling Biden out for getting very lucky in the primary, and he blamed Elizabeth Warren by name for not dropping out earlier.
Not bad analysis there.
Yeah.
Props to Mr. Trump.
One of those Trump moments where I'm like, well, I mean...
But it's just twisting the knife for like no reason. It's like, I don't think anyone really even cares at this point.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's been over for a very long time.
Yeah.
He loves to do political analysis. I think that's what he really enjoys. Like, I don't think he really enjoys being president. I think he really likes, like, the horse race bullshit.
The game of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and, like, there were several times when Biden would say something and Trump would be like, oh, you just lost the radical left.
You lost the left. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Joe Biden totally thinks that he ran the Obama administration by himself.
The luckiest day of Joe Biden's life was when he was chosen as Obama's running mate.
There's no question in Joe's mind that he won that primary 100% fair and square.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's just fact.
Like, yeah, not that the like entire party came together to boost him at a pivotal moment. No, it was all him and his campaign. It was all those like rallies he did with like 5 to 10 people.
It's every grandma he ever kissed.
Yeah, it's the personal touch.
Every ice cream cone he licked.
Yeah, the retail politics.
Mm-hmm. Somehow they started talking about healthcare already during the Supreme Court segment, and Biden insisted that most people would not qualify for the public option that's part of his healthcare plan.
Yeah.
Right. Because they're getting
cool,
it through their
man.
employer, bro.
Yeah.
Duh. I can't believe you don't know healthcare.
Thank you, Joe. Make sure most people cannot get any benefits that you are proposing.
Yeah. Well, clearly, I mean, he had to say that because Trump is saying that he's gonna kick all the poor people off of their incredible employee-sponsored plans, or employer.
This is like a really weird moment. Do you remember Trump talking about how when he became president, he had the choice to either run Obamacare really well or really poorly?
Yeah.
A really strange way to frame that situation. But I think he was being like completely honest about like how the situation was presented to him. Like his staff were like, all right, if you want, we could just totally sabotage Obamacare for you and like force it to fail. So yeah, I mean, it was like a strangely revealing moment, I think, at the debate into how decisions are made in the Trump White House.
Well, he basically, I mean, is it called the individual mandate that he, immediately got rid of and just kind of cut the legs out from under it? There was a lot of stuff in the debate that has happened during his presidency that he's never held accountable for anything. But it was really interesting to me that, like, who's been president for 4 years? You're talking about all these terrible problems that are going on. Like, do you feel like you maybe had any sort of control over any of this at all?
No, it's very unfair to say that. Biden was asked a question about potentially expanding the Supreme Court. He did not answer the question, and instead he just looked at the camera and said, vote.
He's been watching a lot of The Office.
And then they moved on to the next segment, which was COVID-19, which is, kind of surprised that it gets its own segment at the debate. It doesn't seem like it's that big of an issue for the country.
No, definitely not like the number one thing that will be, like the number one issue of the presidency.
Yeah. I mean, with the emphasis that they're placing on this thing, like you would think that maybe like somebody on stage has the disease, like while they're talking about it.
Yeah. I don't know if I believe that one. I believe that he simultaneously doesn't have COVID, has also had it for a week, and that he is currently dying.
Yeah.
Or having a grand old time.
As of this recording, I think the latest news is that he has returned to the White House. They've been releasing videos of him looking like he's struggling to breathe and stay standing. So things are going well.
And Kellyanne Conway's daughter tweeting or posting on Instagram about how Trump actually is in really bad condition and that they're just doing it as a photo op or whatever.
Man, she's been scooping a lot of stuff recently.
Yeah, she rocks. She's like 15.
Yeah.
I definitely believe her.
Yeah.
More than
trust her
anyone
way
else
more
in
than
Trump's administration.
I trust her more than any government administration, past, present, future, for real.
Yeah.
I would never wish someone after sitting through that debate to watch it again. But I think if someone did today, knowing what we now know, what's happened in the last few days with his getting infected and everything, it would kind of be like one of those movies where all of the clues are set up throughout the movie, and then you have to rewatch it again to pick up on everything to,
There's
understand
little,
the ending.
Secret messages in the Declaration of Independence behind them.
That's why he had shifty eyes every time they talked about COVID-19, positive test results.
I'm skeptical. I don't think he had it or had any knowledge of it at that point. I think he probably knew about it sometime on Thursday.
Right. It was like midnight Thursday, Friday that his tweet went out.
I think if he had already been confirmed positive, he would have been I don't know.
I don't know, because I feel like I think really anything could be plausible, but because it usually takes 5 or 6 or 7 days after you start showing symptoms to kind of take a turn for the worse, I certainly wouldn't put it past him to find out he's infected, not tell anyone, try to just carry on with business as usual, and then only when it was looking a little bit dire actually go to Walter Reed. And that's kind of when, like, the point of no return, he had to send out that, like, midnight or 1 a.m. text to kind of get ahead of the story.
Yeah. And I don't know the threshold for it even testing COVID or, like, you know, before it would even show up in a test. I don't know. And you know, there's a variability within tests to begin with.
You're right. Yeah,
So-
exactly.
I mean, obviously they're not being straight about his health, but I don't know. It's funny to see that people like say he doesn't have it. Well, it's like he's been like actively courting it. Like not only he's the guy in charge of it who's been downplaying it, but he's like actively been courting it, and like they don't have a White House security protocol for it. Like they don't follow the actual rules of like someone tested positive. That means anyone who's been exposed to them has to quarantine. It's just like, oh, you tested positive, now you quarantine. And it's just like we're gonna keep acting like it's insane.
It really
I think it's
is,
actually
yeah.
rattled some Republicans. It's just like, wow, even Trump cannot avoid getting COVID. Like you would think that one of or the most powerful man in the world would be able to avoid it.
Yeah, I mean, and he is able to. He just isn't taking it seriously. Like,
Yeah.
he easily could not have gotten COVID. Like, come on.
100%. The last one before then was Bojo and or Bolsonaro, but that makes sense, you know?
Yeah.
I heard reported today that, you know, for the past few months, White House staff have just like, you know, they don't care about wearing a mask. The people who do try to like socially distance, other staffers make fun of them. And then since Trump was diagnosed, whenever staff see reporters, then they'll put on their masks, but then they'll quickly take them off as soon as the reporters are on the site. Just stupid. The virus doesn't care if you're the president.
I mean, it is surprising that it took this long before there was like a lot of elected officials getting it. Because like before this week, it was like what Rand Paul had it once. I don't know. I'm surprised it took this long.
Yeah,
to
I don't
start
think
going
they're
around.
pretty clear it's all part of the same cluster, you know?
Yeah, yeah. They lasted this long, so they started getting more and more reckless, and then like finally the inevitable happened.
Yeah, something like that.
Back to the debate. Trump claims that Democratic governors said that he did a phenomenal job with the coronavirus. And Biden just chuckles to himself as Trump is saying this. And what I wrote here is, are you going to challenge him on this or just fucking laugh to yourself? And yeah, he just laughed to himself. It's a strong debate performance.
Yeah.
Biden then blamed Trump for the economy being shut down.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
It's like, it fucking should be shut down. Or maybe, like, by now it would be fine if we had actually shut down at any point.
Yeah, and actually put the, like, actual material, like, contact tracing and testing in place before. I mean, it was already too late once it got here. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That was honestly one of the first thoughts I had when coronavirus first came to our shores was, like, of any country, any, like, developed country, like, we are absolutely the worst prepared to handle this. And it's poetry in motion.
Yep. You've been proven more and more correct as time goes on. Biden was saying that he does not trust Trump to distribute a vaccine to the people, which I think is probably a valid concern.
Right.
I can understand that, but I also think on some level it's kind of irresponsible to, I don't know. I guess we are living through some pretty unprecedented circumstances. I don't know if I would trust a vaccine from someone like Trump if he was in the doctor's office and
I don't trust him to vaccinate me. Like,
Right.
personally.
Well, it's November or it's October. Like it's not going to happen, guys. Like,
no, definitely not. I
Zero
just worry.
chance.
I don't think we should be giving people more
False hope.
reasons not to trust a vaccine when and if it's available.
Right.
Trump responded to this by saying, "You don't trust Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer?"
Yeah.
Which I don't know, didn't really.
Yeah. No, I definitely do not.
kind of made it worse saying that.
Yeah.
To make matters even better, he said that the military is ready to vaccinate us. They're ready to go.
Isn't that like every half of his supporters' worst nightmare?
Yeah. The military is coming to your house to vaccinate you.
Yeah.
And it's a vaccine from Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer.
Hey, they're the guys who made the dick pills, you know? Viagra, ever heard of it?
I don't remember the context for this, but Biden said the word smart and Trump started ranting about Biden's academic record, which was very funny.
Yeah. He brought that up a couple times, saying he was like last in his class, and
You're a big dummy.
yeah, dude. Regardless of whatever kind of point he was trying to make, I just feel like, what was that, 800 years ago that he was even in school?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
not
neither of
relevant.
you remember graduating, so...
It's like all of the attacks that he would use against Hillary, he's just repurposing for Biden. And it's like, for better or worse, and for whatever reasons, like, I think Biden is a more sympathetic figure than Hillary,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna do the job.
I was listening to, after this debate, I listened to like a part of a recording of a debate during the last election cycle between Trump and Clinton. And it's just kind of jarring to hear them juxtaposed with what went down in late September. Like, she's so much more eloquent, and just like, she seems so much more competent than Biden did. And
Yeah, for what it's worth, I would 100% rather have Hillary Clinton as president than Biden. Like, she actually literally does have better politics. Like, if you look at their Senate records, Biden is further to the right of Hillary.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And also, Hillary is shrewd in some way. And Biden has, this is, seriously, the luckiest run for the presidency. And, especially if he wins.
Oh, yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I mean, the whole year has been
his whole career, though.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this election in particular has been, everything is stacked in his favor. And the fact that he still could lose is just so baffling.
But I mean, he 100,000% just rode the coattails of Obama. His Senate career was never going to get him the presidency. His skills as a politician, were never going to get him the presidency. He had to ride the coattails of Obama and then just run on those dying fumes. And the party apparatus, to shut down the race for him. It's crazy. There'll be some good books about this.
I can make a direct comparison between the Clinton 2016 campaign and the Biden 2020 campaign in terms of policy proposals. Because I saw this on Twitter just today, so it's just at the top of my mind. Actually, yeah, I saw it in a Bernie tweet. So Bernie's really trying to sell Biden to people because that's his job now. He's
He's a soldier. Soldier Bernie.
Doing what he thinks is right. But part of his sales pitch is that Biden wants to lower the Medicare age to 60. And even Hillary Clinton did better than that 4 years ago. Her proposal was to lower the Medicare age to 55. So we're literally taking a step back from...
Well, Justin, we're all 4 years older now.
True, we are, slightly closer to Medicare age, so...
Well, and it's the most progressive campaign, of any ever in the history of United States politics.
Yeah.
Where have I heard that before?
Go to joe3330.com. It was totally the same in 2016, and I was guilty of it myself because at the time I was more lib-brained, maybe, than some of my friends who have been proven right again and again. Was to go to Hillary's website. Look, come on, she's not that bad. Look how much of Bernie, 15? How about 12? Try that.
Yeah.
For a minimum wage.
Yeah.
I
guess Biden is in favor of the 15 minimum wage now, but that itself is not at all sufficient anymore.
The Hillary Clinton 12 is really funny, though, in retrospect.
Yeah. So we're still on COVID-19 in the debate, and Trump, he commits just a grave error, and he starts talking about the economy. And Chris Wallace stops him from talking about the economy because the economy, that's the topic of the next segment.
Ooh.
And this just really points out how stupid debates are. We all know when you're talking about the COVID-19 pandemic, it does not make any sense to start talking about the economy. You need to separate these things. There's a wall between these two topics. They should not be discussed in relation to each other. You need to hold back with your takes on the economy. Right now, we're just talking about COVID-19.
Yep.
And then we get... This was one of the more memorable moments, given the days that followed. But this is when Trump started teasing Biden for wearing a mask all the time. And my favorite quote from that was, "Biggest mask I've ever seen."
Well, have you seen his mask? It's actually more of like a beekeeper hat sort of situation. Just kidding. That's not the case.
Biden should show up to the next debate wearing like a hazmat suit.
Listen, it's not the size of the mask, it's how it fits.
Oh, boy.
Come on, man.
Living up to our podcast name right now.
I think that would actually be like a pretty effective visual gag for Biden.
Public
like,
health campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About like how to make your mask like fit right so you get it over your nose, you know.
Mhm.
I like pre-fold mine, you know, the little nose strip.
You can like demonstrate on a banana.
You can also like twist the ear straps around a certain way so it like hugs closer to your cheeks, your big squirrel cheeks full of nuts.
It is that time of year.
Yeah. It saves a trip to the grocery store.
That's true. I was just saying Biden should show up, you know, covered head to toe.
Yeah.
Just be like, it's not safe to be in a room with this man.
That would be fucking cool. I would vote
Yeah,
for
I mean,
him.
that would win him some points, I think.
But nope, no negative ads.
Oh
You
my
can't
God.
make jokes about Trump having COVID. God damn, imagine the Republican ads if Biden caught COVID.
I know.
Yeah.
Damn,
Oh,
man,
fuck.
I want to see them.
Actually, yeah, I'm sure they've got like
I
mock-ups somewhere.
seriously, it would be amazing.
Damn, that's like a really fun just thing to think about is all of the campaign ads that don't get aired. There's got to be so much like dirty, awful shit
Yeah.
out there that never reaches the
Yeah.
airwaves.
Yeah. They're like, this is too far.
Mm-hmm.
The racists who stamp off on those shit are like, this one. the Willie Horton cutting room floor.
Have you seen, there's been an ad playing, I've seen it so many times, where Marionette Miller Meeks is a literal like marionette. She's like a puppet.
Oh
of-
yeah. I did.
That's very Democrat.
Yeah.
They've been preparing that one for the like 15 years that Marionette Miller Meeks has been running for office.
Oh yeah.
They're finally like, oh, now we got her.
Yeah.
Finally pulling out the big guns. Chris Wallace compares Trump and Biden's kind of campaign strategies in terms of like meeting the voters, and how Trump has these large rallies where he's hosting super spreader events as opposed to Biden's smaller gatherings. And Trump basically hits this one out of the park. He interrupts and says Biden's having smaller events because nobody would show up.
While accurate, I think that Biden probably, I don't know, I think there were a lot of missed opportunities where he could have just, like, if a more competent debater or someone who is just even, like, not even competent, but like a little bit of a flashier orator could have just been like, yeah, I didn't want my crowd attendees to fucking die.
Right. I'm not trying to kill my voters.
Yeah. That's my strategy, is how many people will be alive by November 3rd to vote for me.
Yeah. But Trump is like so good at this. Like, obviously the point of what they're talking about is that Trump is holding these rallies, which is like extremely irresponsible. But he immediately turns it around and it's like, yeah, that's because people want to fucking see me. Like, I'm cool. I'm an attractive event host. And now is when they move on to the economy, which, we can't talk about the economy in relation to anything else that's going on. It's its own distinct set of circumstances, unrelated to anything else. It's economy time. They start this off, really hammering home that these are distinct, separate categories by continuing to talk about COVID-19 during the economy segment. And Trump keeps repeating the phrase, "one person is too much," in regards to COVID deaths, which is, I don't know. Nothing that he has done all year seems to indicate that is his motivating philosophy.
Yeah. Well, one person is a tragedy. 200,000 plus is just such a huge number. Like, it's almost unfathomable to think about that many people in body bags.
Mm-hmm. And here, Biden made a class-based argument, which was a pleasant surprise for me. This is when they were talking about V-shaped recoveries versus K-shaped recoveries.
Had you heard of this before the debate?
No. Well, the V-shaped, yes, but not the K.
I just
Yeah,
know
yeah.
LMNOP.
V-shaped recovery would be the delusion that like the COVID recession is going to be just a quick, like once there's a vaccine, everything will be fine, instead of like
Yeah.
a massive amount of restaurants and like local art institutes, like businesses and stuff, like are going to close down like forever.
Yeah.
And like a significant chunk of like the service economy, which has been like keeping the economy afloat, is like going to be dead.
That makes sense.
Rest in peace to Vaudeville Muse. Who
Yeah.
just
Yeah, that's
announced,
really a bummer.
today, I think, that they're having to close their doors.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't been having any shows there.
Well, yeah,
because
they haven't been
couldn't
doing anything
really,
for 6 months. So, like,
Yeah, they didn't really have any way to like adhere to the actual standards for the COVID shit.
but the K-shaped recovery, basically, it just means that the wealthy are actually benefiting from the economy crashing, and the working class is getting worse. So it's a K-shape.
Oh, I
'cause,
got
like,
it.
Some people go up, some go down.
That makes
I
sense.
see.
Okay. They're okay.
Yeah, that's yeah.
So that was nice that Biden acknowledged that there is actually a class of wealthy people who benefit from a rigged society. I don't think he actually cares about that or will ever act upon it. Biden claims that Trump will be the first president in history to end his term with fewer jobs than he started. I didn't actually look this up, but I feel like this needs a fact check. There's
Did
no
he
way that
say
that's true, right?
Yeah. What about Hoover? Yeah.
Exactly. Hoover was my first thought as well.
You know, I think I remember him saying, like, you're one of the first presidents or something. He certainly could have kind of been muddling through that.
One possible explanation was that maybe they weren't recording those stats during the Hoover administration. But,
Yeah.
There's no way that Trump is the first president where this has happened.
Jobs is such a meaningless, like even unemployment is like
Yeah.
Yeah.
very qualified. Like
Absolutely.
only takes into consideration certain things, like not the people not looking for work and all of that shit. Doesn't even matter. It's irrelevant as a fucking indicator anyway.
Right. One of my favorite quotes of the night, Trump said, "I brought back football. I'm very happy to do it. The people of Ohio are very proud of me."
Which the Big Ten season hasn't started yet, so I don't know what he's talking about quite yet.
I'm very happy to do it. The people of Ohio are very proud of me.
I'm a single issue voter, and my issue is watching young people get concussions every fall.
Which candidate is Ohio more proud of? That's what I'm going to base my vote on. And from what I'm hearing, it's Trump.
Yeah, I feel like Ohio is gonna go to Trump.
Oh yeah. Shortly after this, Biden, he tries to like take a page out of Trump's debate strategy book. He tries to like start interrupting Donald, throw him off by just saying, "Show us your tax returns. Show us your tax returns. Show us your tax returns."
Yeah.
And Trump just sort of ignores him and keeps talking. So yeah, I guess that's not going to work for you, Joe. Sorry. And Trump said something like, "You're going to see my tax returns very soon," or whatever. And this is where Biden said, "Inshallah."
Yeah.
I missed that.
Biden reveals that all along he was the secret Muslim in the Obama administration. Trump says, "I was a private business people."
Yeah, I remember that one.
That's like using the royal we.
Yeah. So they're really going after Trump about his taxes because that thing came out that said he paid $750 in income taxes.
Yeah.
Another thing that I forgot about, given
Another irrelevant thing
all the
Yeah.
shit that's happened.
that only matters to the same people who are already in the tank for Biden.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It has been something that I've been thinking about, though, in light of recent events, just kind of wondering how much medical care that he is getting right now was like $750. So how many like microseconds of care in Walter Reed, like immediately ate up that $750 that he paid in taxes.
Listen, you got to think about all the people from foreign countries who came to stay at Trump hotels. Think about how much sales tax that they spent when they were in this country.
Yeah.
Come on now. Think about the value. It doesn't matter about taxes. Think about the value that Donald Trump brings to this country with his line of hotels.
Plus, he's a job creator, so you got to think about all of his employees and their income taxes. That's basically him paying income tax. So
Right. See how irrelevant this shit is? It doesn't matter.
Yeah. All right, you convinced me. We can move on.
Well, in the actual debate, Trump deflected from his income tax situation by pointing out that over his career, all he's been doing is taking advantage of tax bills that were passed by Joe Biden in the Senate. And it's like, hey, I can't really argue with you there.
I actually read an article recently, after his tax records came out, that this policy that Obama and Biden put into place to help business owners after the recession, there's an argument to be made that no one benefited from it more than Donald Trump, because it was the time he was like he had the most income coming in probably in his entire career because of The Apprentice and all of the shit he was putting his name on, like Trump steaks and shirts and all that garbage. And so when that money started drying up, that's right when this program went into effect. And so he took advantage of this basic, tax deduction where, because he was making less money at this time, even though it probably wasn't a result of the fucking recession, it was because no one wanted to watch The Apprentice anymore. He was able to recoup probably millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Have you gotten to their comparing their butts yet?
I don't even remember that.
There was a big segment where they were comparing who has a bigger ass.
Hold, gentlemen, that'll be the next section of our debate.
It's definitely Trump. I mean, I saw the pictures from the rear.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, there were so many rear shots, and by rear I mean from the back of the stage to kind of put Chris Wallace in the middle and the front. I think it was Biden on the left, Trump on the right. Yeah. Maybe.
To show they're not wearing mics.
Oh, do you think so? I thought it was just an artistic choice. I thought it was to compare donks because...
Oh, yeah.
Just in contrast, it was so noticeable how juicy Trump's butt was versus Biden. Definitely, he looks really frail.
Yeah, he's an old man. Yeah,
it's sad to see a butt go to seed like that. While Trump's butt is more of the Gilded Age sort of politician, not to body shame, but definitely I feel like his body is the byproduct of an age where the more you
the line of succession was entirely determined by how chunky you were. Yeah.
It was it showed your virility and power.
He has a body of excess. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm not saying I'm opposed to going back to that. I'm just pointing it out that it was a stark visual that is probably the main image that I'll carry with me forward from the debate. Ass.
Biden was doing a thing where he was listing different failures of the Trump presidency in terms of economic recovery and growth, etc. He goes, manufacturing went in the hole, number 1. Number 2, okay, and while he's talking, Trump is just babbling and ranting and just trying to throw him off. He was he was in top form at this point. We're halfway through, and Trump is just going insane. Just he will not stop talking. So he throws Biden off. Biden's number 2, and then he's stumbling. He says number 3, and Trump immediately corrects him. He's no, Joe, you're on number 2. It's really, trying to shame Biden over his inability to keep a sentence going. But again, that was one of those moments where you kind of feel bad for Biden because I mean, how would anyone really handle that situation?
Yeah,
it made me sad. Just the whole thing, it just made me cringe.
For a second, though, when Trump said number 2, I thought he was calling Biden poop. And that. So I had to
That's
rewind.
plausible enough. You know?
Yeah. I mean, we could have gone in that direction. Not impossible.
I mean, they pretty much did. I mean, Trump pretty much did.
Yeah, what if do you guys remember the part of the debate where he like was digging around in his pants and pulled out human shit and threw it at Joe Biden?
Yeah, it's my favorite part for sure.
Yeah, that was a highlight.
Chris Wallace begging, Mr. President, please. That was a real nice, pathetic moment from the debate moderator.
Did you read anything about how Chris Wallace felt after the debate?
I saw the thing where like somebody wanted to drink wine with him or something, and he was like, I
Yeah.
don't feel much like celebrating.
Yeah, he was offered a glass of champagne, I think from, someone at Fox, and he was like, I don't deserve champagne right now.
And then one more note from the economy segment. So as I said, this is when Trump's really going wild. Biden says, it's hard to get any word in with this clown, this person. He apologizes for calling Trump a clown. Just while he's just getting like totally steamrolled in terms of like speaking time.
Getting a word in,
Yeah. I'm sorry I called you a clown. You like fascist demon standing on the stage with me. I apologize for my rudeness. And speaking of fascism, the next segment was race, and everyone at home starts tugging on their collar.
Yeah. Oh.
Uh-oh. It's the Trump-Biden race debate. Who's gonna say it first? Uh-oh.
Oh, God.
So Chris Wallace, he's addressing a question to Donald Trump. He says, I'm going to ask a question about race, but if you want to answer about something else, go ahead.
I think I had totally checked out at this point.
Yeah. Do we really want to give him like explicit permission to just ignore your questions?
It doesn't matter, man.
It doesn't, but I mean,
To Chris
isn't
Wallace,
this your
it does,
job?
but yeah.
Yeah. At some point, Biden said, it's about equity. It's about equality. It's about decency. It's about the Constitution. I don't know. I kind of lost him. I don't know what he was talking about.
Which part of the Constitution? Because there's other ones that can be cited.
Yeah.
It's like a 3/5 thing.
Yeah, yeah. The first draft was maybe not something we should be referring to during this segment. Biden acknowledged that the coronavirus is affecting the black community disproportionately, which is, again, good. Glad somebody coached him on that.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Trump's very first statement in the race segment is about the 1994 crime bill. So,
Yeah.
yep, he's already knows where to aim his attacks. Trump starts bragging about his support from law enforcement. He accuses Biden of not using the words law enforcement.
Or is it Law and Order?
First he said law enforcement, but I think he meant to be talking about law and order.
I was waiting for Biden to say, I will say radical Islam, and I will say law and order.
Yeah,
I'll say
exactly.
any damn words in any damn sequence that you ask me.
Yeah. It was a real callback to like 2014 when like Ted Cruz accusing Obama of not using the phrase radical Islamic terrorism. It's like Biden won't even say law enforcement.
Yeah.
And he said, the people of this country want and demand law and order. Yee. Very fash.
Yeah,
Yeah,
certain
he
ones
said
demand
it.
it a lot louder, you know?
Here's a direct quote from Biden. The vast majority of police officers are good, decent, honorable men and women.
Wrong.
Violence in response is never appropriate. And this is in regard to the police murdering people and not ever being held accountable. Violence in response is never appropriate. I would say wrong
That's
to
pretty
that as well.
standard. I mean,
I mean, what do you expect him to say? But
right, yeah.
It could have been worse. He could have said, something about property. Violence toward property is not acceptable.
yeah, he didn't specify vandalism.
Yeah,
So
I
that's-
think he meant probably killing people, which I think I agree with him on that one.
There are times where it's maybe. This was, again, some recent news that they were talking about. Trump getting rid of racial sensitivity training in government employment. And Trump says that he eliminated racial sensitivity training because, quote, it was racist. Okay. And then he said, we have to go back to the core values of our country, which in the context is a little alarming.
Yeah. Which, like, how far back?
Yeah.
like, what time? Values it at what time?
They started arguing about the suburbs, and Trump says,
Oh, God, yeah. That's so funny.
I know suburbs so much better than you. And Trump, of course, accuses Biden of wanting to defund the police because, you know, he's going to smear him with every radical ideology he possibly can, despite Biden being basically the most conservative presidential candidate the Democrats could have possibly put forward. In response, Biden says, what I support is the police having the opportunity to deal with the problems they face. And anyone have any sort of explanation for what that means? Because I had no clue.
I'm sorry, I'm distracted by the idea of Cindy Axne and David Young debating, which is apparently happening right now.
Oh, yeah, that's tonight.
I'm just distracted by that tantalizing prospect.
Just think about the absolute mastery of the craft on display as David Young debates.
Yeah.
The king of rhetoric in Iowa. Oh man, this was maybe my favorite like total smear of a question that I saw the whole night. Wallace asked Biden if he has ever encouraged the governor of Oregon and the mayor of Portland to bring in the National Guard to end the protests.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I guess he's saying like it's obviously like they should do that. Why haven't you asked them to do that?
Yeah. That was so weird. In what capacity is he? I don't know.
Is this when Trump said that the sheriff of Portland agrees with me or supports me or whatever?
And then, like, the next day, he said, I do not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but you're still the fucking sheriff, so you're still an asshole.
Well,
yeah.
Well, especially with the fucking Portland. It's like their,
Yeah.
their whole police department's fucking infiltrated with fucking white supremacists.
Yes.
I'll put infiltrated in
Well, I mean, not that
quotation
that's
marks.
unusual, but, you know.
Yeah, for real.
But Portland in particular.
Wallace offered to switch seats with Trump. That was a nice little moment. Oh yeah, and then we got everybody's like biggest takeaway, I think, from the night, at least the night of and the day after, before Trump's positive COVID test came out. Trump refused to condemn white supremacists when asked to do so.
Well, at first he was like, I'll condemn anything. I'll condemn anyone you say. And then he's like, well, like Chris Wallace like mentioned like right wing. Mm-hmm. I think at this point, like Trump said that like left. I don't know if that happened before or after, but Trump said that most of the violence was done by left wingers. Mm-hmm. I don't know. He did. He said the stand back and stand by.
Yes.
Which I genuinely don't know if he meant to say stand down and like just was like searching for words, because he was immediately like before he was like, I'll condemn anyone you say. And like I mean, it's not like he hasn't done that before when asked. It's like, it's irrelevant anyway. And honestly, the poll watcher stuff, like later on, is probably more of an open incitement than anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, either way, not great. Not great for optics.
Right.
And the Proud Boys definitely took it a certain way, and that's
100%. Yeah.
the main issue.
I don't know if he's so stupid he flubbed it, or if he's, playing 13-dimensional chess.
Well, we know he's not.
Right. Well, on Thursday night, he did what they said. He condemned the Proud Boys on Sean Hannity's show before he announced that he had COVID. So, to everyone who is watching Sean Hannity's show, now they know the truth.
Rest assured. Do you think Pence will be asked about it this week at the VP debate?
Probably, yeah.
We'll see. I'm more concerned to see like what kind of shoes Kamala Harris is wearing.
Oh, come on.
That's what's going to get me to the polls.
Fucking low-cut Chucks, dude. Haven't you seen the fucking... Come on.
Oh, she does the low tops,
The
not
Converse,
the high tops?
I think she does the low tops from what I've seen.
I don't remember specifically. But my question about that, I mean, obviously there's like real concerns to Trump saying like stand by. I think that's what he said. Yeah. But my question was, does Biden know what the Proud Boys are?
He's mentioned them. I feel like
before this? Okay.
Yeah, I think he does, because I think he and Chris Wallace, if my memory serves, I would have to rewatch it, but I feel like Chris Wallace was like, denounce a white supremacist or white supremacists, and then Biden like supplied one of those groups is called the Proud Boys.
Yeah. Biden brought up the Proud Boys specifically, and that's what made me wonder, is like, he knows what that is?
If they were my sons, I wouldn't be so proud of them.
I guess he kind of launched his whole presidential campaign off of Charlottesville, so I guess he probably does have at least some familiarity with the current white supremacist groups. I just want people to ask Biden like specific questions about Gavin McInnes, and just I want to know what he knows about this.
Yeah. Do you know the origin of the name? Do you know the rules about how you can't masturbate unless you're in a room with a woman? That shit.
Yeah.
Those guys are sad, man.
Yeah. Does he know about Gavin's career like prior to his full like white supremacist turn, or
Big fan, followed him for years.
Yeah.
Well, he's kicked off Twitter, so he must follow him on what's website are they using now?
Gab?
Gab?
Yeah, Gab is like the explicitly racist one, I think.
I think there's multiple ones, though.
Mm-hmm. Gavin's got his own website, too, but I can't remember what it's called. It's like where he hosts his podcast now because he can't use YouTube.
Not on YouTube, not on Twitter. Fuck him.
This is like part of the race segment somehow, but Chris Wallace asks them each this like general sort of like, why are you the better candidate to handle what's going on? Biden, he tries to have like a passionate moment about his dead son, Beau. He's tying it to like Trump calling the military losers and stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, trying to really.
And Trump goes immediately to Hunter.
Yeah.
Sorry, I spoiled you.
No, it's good. It's good. Everyone's probably seen this. Who cares anyway? But this is like the most energy Biden had the whole night. He's like,
absolutely.
This is the thing he was ready to stick Trump with. Like, you called soldiers losers. I have a dead son who was in the military. But while Biden is like having his like rehearsed passionate moment and doing like delivering it pretty well,
I don't know if it was rehearsed or just because it was so personal to him and like
you're right.
He's just so used to being like I said, just generic retail politician mode. That like it's rare to get on a subject that's actually like know
maybe not
resonant,
rehearsed, but I do think he was like ready to go into that.
Right. Yeah.
But again, Trump just like immediately deflated the moment and like interrupted him and started talking shit about Hunter and Ukraine.
Yeah.
It's just, like, he is so good at this. Like, he can shut you down so easily because you're just like an old man.
I think he definitely has a talent for like the most salacious stories, definitely are just, I feel like, stored so well in his brain that he doesn't care about, any of the boring issues of actually running the country or public affairs or foreign policy. He just like really gravitates towards these salacious sort of tabloid stories.
Imagine trying to like coach Trump for a debate. And it's like, it doesn't matter. Like it literally doesn't matter. He's going to say what he's going to say, and it's going to be more effective than anything that they could have told him anyway. At least among his people, which we'll see if they're durable enough for him to win again.
Yeah.
And there's an added hazard now, as we know from Chris Christie. Doing debate prep with Trump you may end up with the coronavirus. So yeah, and so Trump turned the conversation towards Hunter, the more controversial Biden son. And Biden said that he's proud of his son for kicking his drug habit. And it was actually like kind of a nice, surprisingly touching moment.
Yeah.
Among the absolute chaos.
Yeah,
so,
I thought he handled
that
as well as he could.
Yeah. That was definitely one of his best moments.
Then they moved on to climate change. Trump just started off ranting about forest management and cigarettes starting fires. And this was in response to just being asked straight up, like, what do you believe about climate change? And yeah, I guess he has his opinions on forest management.
Yeah, he's got a rake.
So just, yeah.
Yeah, wasn't this like months ago that he was talking about the rakes?
Oh, I mean, since the fire started again, that's been his like main talking point about it. They should have raked better.
Forests aren't clean. Gotta keep them tidy.
Which there might be some truth to that, but it's not like the federal government would, under Trump, would ever authorize funds for it. They would just, I mean, it's just obviously an excuse to attack Democrat states because it's like his bread and butter.
Yep. It's something bad that happened in California, so.
Yeah. Isn't most of the land where the fires are spreading, like federal land?
Oh, yeah, I don't know, but that sounds plausible to me. If you read it, I assume it's true.
I think that's such a... I know it's Chris Wallace, but like, what a stupid way to phrase that question. Like, do you believe in it?
Yeah, it's 2020.
I do think it's a step above do you believe in it? Because he said, what do you believe about climate change? Which is like a little more open-ended and kind of forces him to... Well, for a normal person, might force them to actually like reveal their motivations when it comes to climate science. But for Trump, it's like, he can talk about whatever he wants and get away with it.
Yeah. What a terrible like tragedy it is that was politicized. Like our planet.
Well, I mean, it has economic implications, so it's going to be
We're not
political.
talking about the economy, Justin.
Right,
that was the last section of the debate.
It's I mean, remember like Inconvenient Truth, remember how much shit Al Gore got for that like lame movie?
He got owned on South Park for that.
Yeah, like it's been a battle every step of the way, and it will continue to be that way.
Continuing with the climate debate, Trump said that cars are too expensive because they have computers all over the place.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah, cars, computers. Even though, like, what cars are like cheaper now than like you can get a shitty ass car now.
Mm-hmm.
They say they don't save money on the computers. They save money on replacing all the metal with plastic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If you read through the lines, he's talking shit about emissions regulations.
Yeah.
But I prefer to just leave it at face value. Cars are too expensive because they have computers all over the place. Biden talks about his energy proposals. So he's, of course, been, quote, attacked as a supporter of the Green New Deal. Trump insists that he supports the radical Green New Deal, which will be very, very bad for all of us. But Biden talks about his actual energy proposals. And one thing that will happen as a result of the Biden plan is it will create millions of good-paying jobs. Not $15 an hour, but prevailing wage.
Prevailing wage.
Mm-hmm. So I looked up what the federal prevailing wage is currently, and it's $10.80. Which actually reminds me that one thing in that Bernie tweet that I already mentioned, one of his selling points for Biden, is that Biden supports a $15 an hour minimum wage. But I guess he's content with $10.80 for his energy proposal jobs. I don't know. He just presented this like it's something to be excited about.
Yeah.
That, his energy bills will create $10.80 an hour jobs for everyone.
It didn't matter at the debate because he was obviously talking about the Green New Deal the entire time. Like his plan doesn't even matter. It's just whatever Trump can pin on him.
And of course, the most important point of the entire debate happens near the end of the climate segment. Biden mentioned Iowa.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wrote that down too.
So, just a spoiler, Trump does not say the word Iowa, even in what remains of the debate. So, that means Biden won.
And he could have...
By default.
Yeah, exactly. I think we can settle that matter. He even had the opportunity to. Ohio is so close to Iowa, and we are bonkers about football too. So,
yeah.
Nice work, Joe Biden.
And if you yourself would like to revisit the moment where Joe Biden said Iowa during the first presidential debate of 2020, if you go to the C-SPAN video on YouTube of the debate, it's at 1 hour, 48 minutes, and 55 seconds. And then they moved on to the final segment, which was election integrity.
Oh, did we touch on Antifa is an idea, not a group?
Oh, no, I didn't write that down.
Dude, that was
Yeah.
amazing. That was like the one piece of like left-wing knowledge that an old head like Joe Biden can pass down is Antifa is an idea, not a group.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, that was a shining moment of the debate for Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Wow, he gets us. He understands.
I can't remember exactly what Trump's response to that was, but it was something like, give me a break.
Well, yeah. Well, I saw Biden getting attacked over it like immediately afterwards, saying that he wasn't going to be tough enough on Antifa. Antifa. Fuck.
I feel like if it was fully called anti-fascist, every time you said it, it would be less easy to turn it into this radical,
Right.
like leftist guerrilla gang.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I don't have a problem with the entire concept of anti-fascism being like an explicitly left radical thing.
Yeah.
Because it
Yeah.
really like forces people to confront that like, oh, nobody else is actually confronting fascism in a meaningful way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, the Antifa shit is like they're thinking of like the black bloc anarchists, like
Sure.
Seattle WTO protest shit.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
that's 100% what they're thinking of. And it's like most of the protests aren't even close to that. So it's like,
No, yeah. And as Biden said, Antifa is an idea more than it is an organized
Yeah.
actual group of people.
God damn, he knows, man. He's dropping knowledge.
Have we already gotten past the part where, yeah, it must have been during the climate section when Trump said that Biden was going to get rid of cows?
I kind of like glossed over that. I didn't mention the cow thing.
Yeah. Evan, what did you know when you were talking about cows in your debate prediction before?
I mean, just cows are central to, I mean, everyone for the most part eats beef if they're a real American. And they also drink milk if they're a real American. Like, preferably together. Like, I don't care about the Old Testament. This is America. I'm, just a psychic, I guess.
Election integrity. So here's a quote from Biden. This is another one of those moments where he like looks at the camera. He's talking to us directly. He says, "He cannot stop you from being able to determine the outcome of this election." And my response, wanna bet?
He could try.
Yeah.
He could do his damnedest, and it's not like he's signaled that he's going to.
To kind of circle back to something you had mentioned, Evan, I thought the most chilling part, honestly, of the whole debate was when Trump started telling people to go to the polls and be poll watchers during election day. I think that is definitely going to end in violence. There's going to be some violence that arises out of that, or sometimes, at least voter intimidation at the very least.
Right. But that's the thing. That's been a factor in American elections since fucking
Oh yeah.
time immemorial.
Yeah.
I mean, sad to say, I'm not downplaying it, and it's like terrible. Like I said, that is definitely like the worst thing I think that Trump said, for sure. But it's also not unprecedented.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Trump basically calls the 2016 election illegitimate, which is, of course, an election that he won, if you recall.
It's the Russian interference. That's what he was talking about.
Right. He's talking about mail-in ballots. He says, "This is going to be a fraud like you've never seen." He claims that mailmen in West Virginia were selling ballots to people. He also, here's a good quote out of context. "I love counting the votes."
If there are mailmen in West Virginia who are selling the ballots, then like that's like a pretty high level grift.
Yeah, for real.
I'm not condoning it, but
I've mentioned before that I've been watching The Sopranos with Ashley, and one recent like point of contention between Tony Soprano and Richie something, I don't remember his last name, but he was having his guys sell cocaine on the garbage routes.
yeah,
It's kind of a similar thing. Trump believes the West Virginia mafia is trying to win the election for Joe.
it's better than being a coal miner.
Yeah. As I was taking notes, I just remembered the beginning of the segment when Biden said there's nothing Trump can do if he loses the election. And then everything that came after that has been Trump bringing up things that he could do to to impact the results of the election. Chris Wallace asks both candidates to urge their supporters to, quote, not engage in any civil unrest between election night and the final announcement of the results of the election.
Like it even matters. Like
Well,
it's the same thing with the white supremacist shit. It's like Trump can say whatever the fuck he wants. Like there's going to be enough people who are going to get every other fucking message that he sends.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's pretty pointless to be like asking the candidates to say like, don't kill anyone over the election. But also he makes it so broad. Like, please urge your supporters not to engage in any civil unrest.
Nothing naughty whatsoever.
Nobody leave your homes on election night.
Oh, yeah. I think we're doing this thing called the Purge this year, where no laws exist for 24 hours, and that's going to be Election Day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so basically the entire election integrity segment of the debate was Trump laying the groundwork to reject the election results.
Yeah.
Pretty discouraging if you believe in voting, I guess, as the ultimate expression of your political
Man,
will.
if you believe in voting, gotta be real kick to the guts. I won't go that far, but come on. And
Yeah.
I do think he will, reject the results no matter what. Do I think he'll get away with it? Right now I would be leaning towards no. Like if they actually, it's pretty much up to the states to count the votes. And I don't think that any sort of, aside from like some sort of narrow court case, like they could make the Florida thing in 2000, where it's like one state decertifying it. I don't think that they would. Yeah, I don't think it's possible. But I've been wrong, and he's broken everything else. So,
Especially in his weekend
exacerbated
state.
and just shown, well, more like just torn down the facade. But
Yeah.
Right. Well, Stella wanted to make some predictions on this episode, so maybe we should get into that since Evan, you're already kind of laying down what you think's going to happen. My prediction based on that election integrity segment in the debate was actually, and this is actually what I wrote down as I was listening to it. If Trump is winning the vote count on the night of November 3rd, he's going to claim total victory, regardless of like the votes that come in afterwards.
Yep.
And on the other side, if he's losing on the night of the election, he's going to just claim that the remaining ballots are going to be in his favor.
yeah, that's 100%.
Or that fraud has taken place. I could see that happening too.
Yeah, I guess I hadn't even considered that aspect because I feel like he'll be able to spin it in a way that's positive for him no matter what. On election
Yeah,
night.
exactly. Yeah. Like he can either continue with the like mail-in ballots are all fraudulent. He can do that if he's winning on the night of. But if he is losing on the night of, he can kind of turn that and say, well, the rest of this, I'm going to catch up because of all the mail-in ballots.
Yeah.
Either way, he can play it to his favor.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I wrote down for a prediction. I didn't go any further into like he will continue sabotaging the counting of the mail-in ballots, but that's also, I mean, he'll do what he can probably.
I think it's more of a face-saving effort than anything too serious.
Okay.
To be honest, it's horrible. I mean, it's not not horrible, but I think whatever he can do to save face with the people who like him, as long as he can keep a segment of enough people who like him around.
So you think it's more about his reputation than actually holding on to power?
His ego, less so his reputation.
I mean,
and
Well,
it's
yeah, I mean,
so connected. I mean, honestly, I don't know. It's hard to say, but yeah, it just seems unlikely to me that he wouldn't just be talked out of it. It's like at this point, like if it's clearly pointing to like a Biden victory, then I don't think that there'll be enough people around him. He'll lose his like little circle or whatever.
yeah, I don't think he has the brute force. If it's like a blowout, I don't think he's going to be able to stay in. I could see, like what you said, Evan, with some sort of 2000 situation happening with Florida.
Yeah, if it's close, then all bets off, But, like, I just don't think that he would be able to, like, cling to power if there was any sort of, like, conclusive victory. But he'll claim to his grave that he won. It doesn't matter,
Yeah, oh yeah.
He may go to his grave very soon, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I expect to outlive him, so it'll be an interesting day.
We can all only hope. I think he's going to at least make it through the election. I hope he feels gross, though. I hope he feels like really, really sick. I think he's going to insist on participating in the debate on October 15th, even though I think most people close to him, like his doctors and family and advisors, are going to tell him that that's probably a bad idea.
Well, that's what they've been saying, is that he plans on debating. Like right before we started recording, there was some sort of breaking news about that.
Apparently with his dad, when his dad like was too old to run the business, they like let him pretend that he was still running the business and just had him like have a phone that was only connected to the secretary and just a bunch of just random papers for him to sign and shit. So like that, I guess, is what I mean by like the people around him won't let it happen. Like they'll probably just like Ivanka and Jared will just like let him pretend that he's still president.
I think we'll watch on the actual debate stage. We'll see him start really strong, and then we'll watch in real time as his like drug cocktail starts being less effective, and we'll watch him like come down and just like get really sweaty, and like he'll be grinding his teeth, and we're definitely gonna see he's gonna have a coughing fit at least once.
Oh yeah. I don't know, man. I don't think that debate will happen.
Yeah, I mean, the Biden team says that they're happy to go forward with it as well. It seems extremely ill-advised to have anybody be in the same room to do this. Like, it's totally unnecessary. But
or car.
Well, also just the TV aspect of it, because like I don't think he'll necessarily be out of the woods by then.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's acting like he's fine right now.
Yeah,
so.
but he's obviously not.
No.
No one, like, obviously he just wanted to leave the hospital. He doesn't have anything to do with his condition.
I do think with the number of infections that have been reported, I think we'll at least have one more death before Election Day.
Oh, yeah.
One more death among the Trump circle that is tested positive.
Yeah.
Or like a congressperson or someone in the White House COVID cluster. I don't know about before the election, but like I feel like statistically, well, I don't know. I guess there hasn't been that many. Like there's like 3 or 4 Congress people now.
Yeah, I don't remember. I know like Mike Lee, the senator, somebody from North or South Carolina. I forget. I had the list, but I forgot it. A bunch of people who were at that Amy Coney Barrett thing at the Rose Garden.
Yeah.
Everyone got it there.
Chris Christie's in the hospital right now. That seems like, decent bad.
That could go pretty bad for him. Yeah. There's pictures of Rudy Giuliani among people who tested positive as well, and we all know that man's extremely healthy.
Oh, and Kate McKinnon has played him on Saturday Night Live, so that's the kiss of death.
Apparently, yeah.
I got a prediction. Joni Ernst is going to hold on to her Senate seat.
Yeah, we could get into the Iowa races. I've got the polling pulled up for those. So right now, the RCP poll average in that race, the Greenfield-Ernst Senate race, has Greenfield up 5.
Oh, really? Wow.
That's, the poll averages.
That's one I'll be happy to be wrong about. This is the strategy for making predictions.
Okay. Stella, what do you think of that one?
I have kind of a pie in the sky prediction. I think Iowa might swing blue this year.
In the presidential.
Yeah, and I think that'll be reflected down ticket. I bet Greenfield wins and Joni Ernst loses her seat. That's a hopeful prediction.
Yeah.
I also think like the results probably won't be very clear. Like thinking about how Iowa bungled the caucus, I'm sure we won't know like the results of like who gets the 7 coveted electoral votes from Iowa
Yeah.
until probably a week or two out from the actual election. And
Mhm.
but I bet, you know what? I bet Joni, she's due for some, I don't know. I think she might lose
She
her
won by
seat.
like 6 points last time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The 2014 Senate race was Ernst with 52.1% and Bruce Braley with 43.8%. She just wrecked him. 2014 was a
Yeah.
pretty bad year for the Democrats.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe the COVID thing will sink her. Like, I know that was a big point of the last debate between her and Greenfield, was her talking about how they were, like, basically her insinuating that they were inflating COVID numbers to make it look worse than
Oh,
it
right.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, Teresa Greenfield was like, you're disrespecting doctors and nurses and all that shit. Like,
Yeah.
some of that might stick. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if she lost, but I would be a little bit surprised if she lost, I guess.
Yeah.
I would too, but I'm going to hope for the best.
Iowa's kind of like teetering on the balance right now. And I mean, the fact that Trump got COVID over the weekend means that a lot of this polling is probably like way outdated now. But the average has Biden up by 0.5% in Iowa. So it's possible that it'll flip. And yeah, I already said that Greenfield is up 5 over Ernst. There has been very little polling of the congressional races. Like, this is from late July, early August from Monmouth.
Oh, man.
But they have Finkenauer up 11 in the 1st district.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Hinson's campaign has gone
That's
pretty,
a lock, dude.
pretty
Hinson's
poorly since then. So,
garbage, dude.
yeah.
She has no chance.
This is a really surprising one. The 2nd district, that poll had Miller Meeks up 4 over Rita Hart.
Oh my god.
Which-
She actually, they're both just so bland that like she has, Marianne Miller Meeks has fucking name recognition over her.
They
Yeah.
look like pretty much the same person. I mean, I hope I'm not being sexist with that, but like they look very similar if you look at the pictures of them like on this website.
Have we ever seen them in the same room? Well, you can tell Marionette Miller Meeks because she's got strings attached to her head and limbs.
Yeah. I guess, I mean, I probably shouldn't be talking about your mother this way, Stella. I'm sorry. I'd be shocked if Miller Meeks actually wins in the 2nd district, but I guess we'll see. I did say months ago that it was possible, so.
Yeah.
3rd district, again, they've been debating tonight, so this could all be thrown by David Young's stellar debate performance. But they have Axne up by 8.
Yeah, I feel like that one's pretty safe too.
Yeah, I'm assuming she's going to
Yeah.
hold on to that.
I agree.
And then the same poll has, in the 4th district, Randy Feenstra is up. Well, I already gave away that he's ahead of J.D. Schulten, but you guys want to take a guess as to how much?
12.
Very close. Switch the numbers. Feenstra is up 21 points over J.D. Schulten.
Oh,
Mm.
ouch.
Yeah, the 4th district is not going to change their ways this year, it doesn't seem like.
Oofda.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, I guess, yeah, there must be a significant number of people who really did actually not like Steve King for being maybe too obvious. Like, because J.D. Schulten, they were entertaining the idea that he could win in a general against Steve King, and he didn't really come that close, but
He was running hoping he'd be against Steve King again, and now it's like, well, now you're against the more presentable Steve King, so sorry.
Yeah.
buddy. I'm going to hinge my overall prediction on one of these races and say that if Miller Meeks actually wins in the 2nd district, I'm going to say that Trump is going to win the state. But also, I mean, the fact that the polls have Greenfield up so much over Ernst tends to point in the direction of Biden winning the state also, because, you know, both are statewide races.
Something I'd like to coin right now is that the only poll that matters is election day, baby. So
I can see some of the suburban voters turning on Ernst the same way they would turn on Trump.
Yeah. As Stella was saying, the only poll that matters is election day. That's right. I'm Joe Biden looking at the camera telling you there's nothing Donald Trump can do as long as you vote. Vote. I don't have any answers for anything else. Just vote.
Yeah.
If you need more reasons to, the president tweeted about 45 different reasons to vote in the middle of the night.
Which is evidence of his sanity.
They put him on steroids, and he turned on the caps lock, and he was ready to go.
Yeah.
According to his doctor actually, or what's his name, Conley, actually said that was evidence that he was
Jesus.
in like sound mental health.
Oh my God.
I mean, he's tweeting like normal.
Yeah.
Pretty much, give or take. It's hard to tell from the baseline, but
Oh, I do have one final prediction, cherry on top of this Sunday. How do you think the candidates will come down on the very important debate topic, which Casey's logo is better? The classic Casey's General Store, yellow and red and brown, or the new bastardization?
everyone's going to go for the old one just out of tradition,
Yeah, the new one sucks.
The
Our
Democrats are
American values.
blue MAGA. I mean, I don't think the Democrats are explicitly selling blue MAGA. I mean, they're going to go for the old one, both of
That's
them.
true. Yeah, go back to tradition. I do think aesthetically the new Casey's logo is just like bland and pretty
It's
awful.
bad, dude.
I hate it, and I didn't even really like their old one.
Right. But it's got that
It's very
classic,
identifiable.
Yeah, the colors,
Yeah.
you've got a bright red and a bright yellow together, and it really pops,
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you lose the yellow, you lose a lot.
Yellow is such an underrated color, though, for real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the color that the least number of Americans say is their favorite.
I like a
Really?
yellow car,
Yellow was, when I was young enough to
Yellow
have a favorite
shirt.
color, yellow was my favorite color.
Oh,
And now,
dang.
now I am
Outside the
I'm-
box.
I'm no longer a child, so I've put away childish things.
My favorite color is blue.
Yeah. Well, yellow has a lot of, like, coward, Yeah, it has a lot of negative connotations.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm more of a purple fan these days.
Oh, that's good. I vary between blue and green.
Well, now that folks know all of our favorite colors, that's far more important than all that stuff that happened at the debate last
That really was. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was going to make one more prediction, and this is kind of a reversal of the way that I felt before. But seeing the recent polling averages and the fact that Trump got COVID and maybe he's going to die, I think that Biden's probably going to win Iowa now. But also, I'm going to hedge that a little bit and say, who the fuck knows what's going to happen over the next month?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
Biden will get COVID next.
That's true. Yeah, that would be a real shock to the system, wouldn't it?
Not really. If that happens, you heard it here, though. You heard it here first.
Yeah, but as of this moment, I think it looks like he will maybe just barely win. But
It'll be a squeaker. It's going to be close.
Yeah,
I
we're in a very
think regardless
fluid
of
moment,
whether
so-
he wins Iowa, that he will likely win the election, though.
yeah, that's probably
it's definitely
also
not going to
true.
hinge. It's definitely not going to hinge
No,
on
no, no.
Iowa.
Definitely not.
Iowa
but-
is the jewel in the crown that is the American presidency. I think we can all agree.
It is funny. We have lost like our swing states. I mean, people still ostensibly consider it a swing state, but we've kind of lost our swing state status in the past like 3 or 4 cycles.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, yeah, nobody was really considering Iowa to be in play like early on in this election. But now I think it is.
Mhm.
But there have been a lot of factors leading up to that.
Yes.
It's not just that the Democrats are excellent campaigners. They've had a lot of help. I did have two more little things from the debate that I wanted to end on. If you guys are ready to stop talking.
Yeah,
about
it's
the
been like
debate.
2 hours. I gotta pee, bro.
Okay, all right. So I'm grateful that the candidates did not have the opportunity to present final remarks, and the debate just sort of ended abruptly,
Yeah, I thought it was a little anticlimactic as
Yeah.
well.
which I appreciated because it's such an inconsequential
Yeah.
event.
It just led right into the complaining about how horrible it was.
Don't let him pretend otherwise.
Yep.
And then one more thing. As they were clearing out the room, somebody in the audience with the red hat, they just yelled, President Trump, the greatest president of all time. Like, that's the energy we need.
Damn.
That was definitely Eric.
Had to hold it in the whole night, you know?
Yeah. Do you think that was an answer to when Biden was like, "You're the worst president that we've ever had"?
Yeah. He wrote down on his little notepad, like, I have a rebuttal for this.
Actually, greatest president. We can definitely wrap up. I just wanted to make sure that we note that we send thoughts and prayers and healing vibes to friend of the pod, Rick Moranis, who was
Yes.
the victim of a tragic punch, and his number one fan, Allie, in the graphics department of Rock Hard Caucus, wishes him the best.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Rick, if you're listening,
God bless.
We pray for your swift recovery from that
Amen.
really confusing attack that apparently happened for no reason.
Yeah.
Unexplainable.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. That's been the Rock Hard Caucus return to electoralism. We're all very excited about voting now. Can't wait to talk more about the upcoming debates over the next month.
Yeah. Woo.
I do have a little thing to plug before we go. Over the weekend, Evan and I made an appearance on a quite similar podcast to ours, Radio Free SD. The SD stands for South Dakota. You can find their show on anchor.fm. I think it's anchor.fm/Radio Free SD. But I'll be like retweeting it and stuff. That episode will probably come out before this one. But I think it was a pretty good time.
Yeah, it was fun. All love to South Dakota,
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
except for their government.
Right, just for the people.
It's very pretty, though. It's
yeah.
a very pretty state.
You can drive fast there.
Yeah, you can.
You can drive drunk there, apparently.
Yeah. If you're an elected official, you can drive drunk, no consequences.
Yeah, but those guys seem really cool. I've listened to a few episodes of their thing, and it's kind
They
of
interviewed Norman Finkelstein.
twice, I think. Yeah,
Yeah. So that's cool.
yeah. A couple young guys talking about communism and stuff from a neighboring state. So if you're looking for a similar show but in a state close to ours instead of ours, I don't know. Let's keep listening to us, but you can maybe listen to them too.
If you have time, you can listen to them. And should.
Also, thanks to everyone on Patreon.
Yeah, of course. If you'd like to give us money, you can do that, but no pressure from me. I did not want to watch that debate, but I had a good time discussing it with my friends tonight, so thanks, Evan and Stella.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Until next time. Signing off. Goodbye.